Hey guys, so today you and I are going to talk about teamwork. So let's get into it. So the question in question was, Frederick, I am an experienced software engineer and I'm at a new job, but I'm finding it really hard to follow someone else's vision and timelines. What can I do to help me become a better team player? Communicate. That is how you do it. It's the same answer that you give to somebody. How can I be more confident in front of boys or girls or my manager or whatever? It's just a skill as any. You need practice. The more you talk, uh, and the more you find yourself in an environment that reflects the environment where you need more confidence, the easier it will be. I have there is an example that I can give you that makes hopefully gives you a bit of an idea. This is true. Like I've done martial arts for many. I used to do martial arts for many years, and used to teach it for a little while as well. But I mean, the same thing goes for dancing or anything like that, where you need to kind of show off your body or do something where other people are observing you. So the first thing we always did when we got new candidates or new people in was to okay, we need to figure out where are you on the skill level. Like, are we going to put you in the advanced group? Do you have prior training with something else, or are you completely fresh off the boat? You've never ever even punched somebody. All right. First thing we ask them to do is shadow box. Just put them all out there in a big pile and just shadow box 2 minutes, and then we just stand and watch them, and you can tell immediately if they know what they're doing, or like what level they are based on that, because the people who have never ever done any type of martial arts training, they will feel extremely uncomfortable doing this sort of thing. They will be like jabbing and kind of just not really knowing what they're doing. The people who have any type of training will shadow box, even if their technique may not be flawless. They will do it with more confidence. The same thing goes here for you. If you want to be a better team player, you need to get comfortable with having the opinion of somebody else. And that means including people in your decision making process. Something that I like to do that works extremely well and builds very quickly builds very strong relationships with everybody is that I reverse the process of code reviews as much as I can. Now, if you're working in a serious IT company, odds are that you have a reviewing process of some sort if you're working in a team, for example. I mean, this is very hard if you're working alone, but since you're already in a team, this is going to hopefully fit you. What you want to do is to think about the situations as you're working on a story where you now need to make an implementation decision. Because every single story has decisions that you need to make, and some decisions, depending on the people in your group, will have an impact and it will have no impact on different people. This is the thing that is so hard about, especially when you have a lot of people reviewing your code. That's why it takes longer, because every person has a different opinion on how to do things. And usually the way it goes is that you submit something for review, and they can read through the whole thing and add a lot of comments, and they can like do all of this and that and so forth. And usually I find at the very least that there are two types of people here as well, where either you take that as a lot of criticism, because depending, of course, I mean, the nature of the relationship has a big impact as well. If you have a douchebag that is like cutting down everything you do, that's not very nice. But it's also a very sensitive thing, because you're getting all these pieces of text, fix that, do this, so forth and so forth. Ask yourself, how are you dealing with that? Are you just doing what the person is saying or telling you to do, or are you? And if you disagree, because usually you get to some point at least where you feel more confident and you might actually push back. Is that pushback, is that conversation now happening just through the thread? Because that's the problem. You're now actually not practicing communication. You are just writing words at each other. If you want to be a better team player, the whole goal should be for you to sync up with your teammates. The best thing for you is to align, if each person can start to understand the thoughts of the other person and the values of the other person, that's when you become a team. When you are all kind of getting to know how each of you work, that's when you start working as a unit. If you're just like several individuals who don't really know all that much about the thought process of each person, you only really know the complaints or things that they usually have an issue with, you're not really building a team. You're just building a group of people who kind of know what the values in the team is, but you're not really working together. So if you already have that reviewing process, try to reverse it and say, all right, before I get to the review, before I even get to the code review, when I'm in that moment when I know that now I'm going to make a decision, I'm going to do, I don't know, I'm going to do a functional thing or I'm going to do an object-oriented thing. Well, I know that this is the sort of decision where people are going to have a lot of opinions. They're going to think yes, yay, or nay. And then just ask somebody to rubber duck with you for 5 minutes. Just ask your coworker, can you come over here and just look at this thing? Because I'm thinking this or that. Which one would be better? And then hear them out. Two things are now happening, which are extremely important for your ability to work as a team, and there's an extra benefit. The first thing that is happening is that you now have the opportunity to have an actual conversation with one of your team members. This is now an opportunity for you to get to know that person, not only as like instead of just having a comment or something like that, you're actually having a dialogue. And this is a much more efficient way for humans to communicate, because now you can read body language, there are follow-up questions, these organic dialogues are just going to happen automatically. You have no idea how much faster it goes to communicate ideas and value systems and really understand each other in like when you speak versus when you try to chat with somebody. Chatting and text will never ever be able to be an as effective method of communication as the actual interaction between two humans. We are designed for that sort of communication. So now you're actually getting to know you're putting in the hours, as I like to say, you're putting in the time with this person, and this is building a rapport between the two of you. The second thing that is happening is that now you actually minimize the risk of you making the wrong assumption, because as you can imagine, if you're going to go between functional and object-oriented or some other arbitrary decision that you're going to make, well, if you pick the wrong thing, you're going to have to redo it, because that person might, the other, like the reviewer or whoever in your team, it might be no, we can't do this at all, or this is not going to work, or for some reason they're not going to allow you to continue. And you could have saved yourself all of the hassle, because imagine if it's a big feature and you make one arbitrary little decision that then just kind of forks off and it's like tied into all this other stuff that you made. Now you have to redo all the work. And you could have saved all that time by just reversing the process of feedback and getting that feedback before you started building the thing that you were supposed to be building. So what I want you to take away from this is that if you want to be a better team player and follow other people's vision, you need to start evolving your EQ. And your EQ and your ability to relate to other people and communicate is usually best trained by being in the environment that you need to be in order to build a confidence. And just as dancing a lot with people will take you from being, or fighting or whatever you're doing, will take you from fairly insecure and a little bit uncomfortable in your own skin to just it's just shadowboxing, or no, this is just foxtrot or whatever. Like, you've done it a million times, there's nothing weird about it. Same thing goes with conversations. If you have a million conversations with another human being, they will either become your friend or they will be just some person that you talk to. There's no tension anymore, and that will evolve you as a person, and you will start syncing up your thoughts and you will start to understand each other. This is very, very attractive for you if you want to be a good team player and understand other people's vision, and of course also share your own visions and communicate with other people. The two things that are going to happen for you is, if you reverse the feedback cycle from getting the review in text format to just including people earlier when you're going to make a decision, you're going to find that you are by default going to communicate more with all the people around you, and you're going to learn more about each other's thought process, which is the whole purpose. That's the best thing for you. The second part is you will make less mistakes and do less extra work, because you will find more issues before you go too far down as a train of thought. You might just say, oh, I had these two options, and then the person comes in and says, no, actually you have this third option as well. I didn't even see that. Cool, let's do that instead. This is the way you want to do it if you want to be a team player. Have a great day.